Hello, everyone. Welcome back to more SC Colonies, Serenecraft Colonies, as the full title is. Um, so I wasn't planning to do this now. In fact, I was thinking what I wanted to do was set up the concept of like a Minecraft weekends. um, where I would do some stuff. Like I would do Minecraft like Saturday and Sunday. But then do like other content throughout like the week and whatnot. Whoops. Um Unfortunately, I realized that I had nothing else recorded right now. Um and I don't like I have an hour to record like this. But what I need to record is not something I can currently record. Like I have SLA RPG and Spirit Tracks that I'm currently doing. The problem is I cannot record Spirit Tracks right now because the cord that connects the 3DS to my computer is currently in use, so I can't record Spirit Tracks. And I'm pretty sure I uploaded the last Spirit Tracks episode that I have. If not, then this might seem weird. It might be that like I'm recording this for no reason. But basically, like I don't have the ability to record Spirit Tracks. SLA would cut into time that people might be awake. And as I've mentioned previously, that could be slightly dangerous, given my family's track record with LGBT content. So I have decided to opt for the safest option of just doing some Minecraft. That said, if this ends up going up on a Saturday or something because I find out that I have something else to put up after recording, you can ignore all that, because I'd like to do that. My idea was like regular Minecraft on Saturday and then colonies on Sunday. So that, I have the weekend as Minecraft content. Both of which I'm going to use this adorable avatar here that Indy made. Because I mean, I'm sure some of you probably saw the last episode of Vanilla. But like even Vanilla lags so badly on this computer that I can't actually run that the avatar normally. So it's a little ridiculous that this computer has so many issues. I mean, look at how badly this is lagging. And this is just freaking running like, it's like 50 mods. It's not even like a big pack. So, whoops. I'm running at what? 4 gig of memory. So, which I mean, it's not terrible. But it's not the actual memory that's the issue. Of according to Task Manager, I'm using 100% of my CPU. I just lowered it down to 90% because I forgot to close the Minecraft launcher, which for some odd reason uses 20% of my CPU all on its own. It's not doing anything. I don't know why it uses, like, a ton of CPU. At least I don't think it's really doing anything. But yet, according to Task Manager, it's using like 20% of CPU just sitting in the background doing nothing for whatever reason. There's got to be a cave somewhere. Just like I hear a zombie like right next to me. Yeah, right here I think is where it is. But I don't know where this is in space compared to here. Looks like it's Y29. So it is slightly below me. If I'm understanding the map correctly, anyway. I do need to go down. So maybe that's what I will do, is I'll just go this way and see about, going down. Yeah, there is definitely a cave here. That's good. Definitely a cave down here. I've got another arcane gem. Ooh, is that... Oh, Infernal Stone Sword of Critical Thinking. 12% base crit damage. What? Huh. Plus 75 fire damage. I don't know if I need all this copper. Oh, also, in between episodes, I didn't do anything particularly, but I did figure out why some of the like structure packs that I downloaded weren't showing up. It's because those particular structure packs don't have a supply camp. What I did was I took the town hall and I opened, I attempted to place it down just to see what would happen. And I noticed when I placed it down that I had the ability to select a bunch of resource packs that I did not have in the supply camp. So I can say that we will be able to pick some new structures when we actually start building the actual colony itself, which will be awesome. That said, I didn't actually start the colony. I clicked on the town hall just to look and see what was available. And then after that, I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it is. And then I just canceled out from there. So there was no actual placing of the town hall. We don't have a colony started. Nothing like that. So I do need more torches. I'm attempting to get some basic resources before I get too involved in the actual colony building here. Let's see. Why is 19 Why is 9? Why is 10? 9 or 10. So this is below me? I'm confused because this arrow says up, which makes me think they're above me. But then, like, these arrows say down. There is... Yep, up. As I say, there does appear to be an up. So, there's that. I like that I just freaking built, dug straight up. Like, let's see. It seems like there's a zombie directly above me. Let's look. I know it's dark, so you can't see much. There's a zombie directly in front of me. There's some coal and some iron right next to me. I'm gonna do a quick mine of those. And then I will... Ooh, lots of iron, actually. And then I will go back into the light here. And we will look into, getting more torches. I don't have any torches on me, so... Unfortunately, I have run out, and I have no wood. And I'm not seeing any wood down here. I can't mine the sapphire ore. Also, I'm realizing that one probe... Father Ensidaben has appeared. I'm realizing that one probe is, like, in the wrong spot. I like to have it at the top middle, and it's at the top right. It's easy enough to fix, but Forge has decided that when you're in-world, there's no mod button. It's really stupid. So you can't, like, configure mods, the configs or anything. In-world, you have to do it out of world, which is also really dumb because there are per world configs that you literally cannot edit unless you're in world. So, real smart idea, guys. Like, look, there used to be a mods button on this section. Now it's back to game, advancements, statistics, bugs, feedback, options, open to LAN, save and quit. I mean, Quark is here, but I can't get to the other stuff through Quark. I can only get into here. Also, yes, okay. Tweaks didn't have the marker saying that it had been changed. So I wanted to be sure that I still had the compasses work everywhere thing turned off. Because there's a little bit of a bug with compasses work everywhere, where basically it adds NBT data to compasses and clocks. I did have, I had a whole stack of torches right there in my inventory. Remember how I said I had no torches? I assumed that if I had had some in my inventory, it would have auto-replaced, but apparently not. Also, if I hit F7, no, I do not appear to have added the light levels thing. Light overlay. Nope. I do not appear to have that, so that's fun. That is something else I have to go in and add. Okay. So normally I have a mod that tells me the light levels. That way I can also be sure that I'm keeping things lit up. Apparently I don't have that right now. So there's that. Well, now that I have, 2 stacks of torches, we can definitely go back down and do some more mining. Because because I definitely knew that I had a full stack in my inventory. Boy. Go ahead and sleep here, and then we'll go back into the mine again and do some... Nope. Rude. Very rude. Very rude, sir. Very rude. Let's see. So we've got... Yeah, we do have the right click to harvest. Awesome. Wasn't sure if that was a feature in this pack. But it is, so that's great. That's the only crop that was harvestable, but it was still harvestable. So there's that. I have a cat on my lap, except that he's sitting in such a position that it hurts. But also, like, he's just sitting on my lap sleeping, and I don't want to move him because that would be mean. I have so much copper already. This is ridiculous. I should carry some wood with me just in case. I mean, it's not much, but it is 8 sticks. So, but yeah. Oops, I don't need that. That'll give me some extra, like, torches should I need them. I think I'm gonna wait on mining more coal or copper. Just because, like, I don't really need it right now, to be honest. So I might just, you know, keep going as is. I really should probably consider getting, like, an iron pick or something of that nature going. Because there is gold down here. And obviously I do know that, you know, if I'm wanting, like, iron and gold and such, the best thing is to mine with fortune. But at the moment, fortune eludes us. I don't know if you've realized that I have no enchanting table, but, you know, there's that. I'm sure that, you know, people have realized, but I'm saying that because, like, I'm sure somebody's thinking, like, well, Serene, you shouldn't get too much. You should wait until after you get fortune, you know. And yes, I do, like, understand that it's best to use fortune, but also if I want, like, a full set of gear here, I'm gonna want, you know, a bit of iron before I do too much. Silver ore. So that's cool. This goes down into deep slate, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just not maybe what I need right now. Though, to be fair, I'm not entirely certain what I do need right now. I'm kind of just going along, you know, going with it as I go along here, you know. I mean, here's some more coal. Deep slate coal. need to do some repairs on my pickaxe. Luckily, right now it is just cobblestone. It's a stone pickaxe, so it's easy enough to restore. Which is another reason I really haven't upgraded to iron. I think I don't want to go down that way right now. So, at some point I'd like to get into create, which is actually not in the mod pack right now, but it's planned. I want to put it in. So I do want to get some of this andesite. But right now, that's not really what I need. What I need the most, honestly, is... Honestly, what I need is clay, come to think of it. I need iron to make armor and tools, and I need clay because I need to make bricks. The best option for clay is to find a lush cavern. Okay, none of them can even get up here. Rude. Oh, frick. That was gravel. Do you mind? Like, they're attempting to be a threat down there. Oh, that was just my normal. That was that special, like, stone shovel I picked up. I was like, wait, how did it break? And then, like, I still have durability on the shovel. It was because it was that special shovel. It was the, like, vanilla shovel as opposed to the silent gear shovel. So, it broke, and then it replaced it with the silent gear shovel. And I think even did durability to the silent gear shovel, though I'm not entirely sure. So, one major thing that I do need to do is get food available. Hopefully before I get too far into, like, construction of a colony. Hey, look, I'm putting down torches. Because, again, it prevents mobs from spawning. I don't remember if I have volcanic caverns in this pack. Volcanic caverns is a mod that I really enjoy. It adds, like, a layer of, like, lava and basalt and stuff, like, at the bottom of the world. It's the last 16, like, blocks of the world. And, it adds those, to kind of serve as, like, a split between the nether and the overworld. Kind of the idea that, like, that, you know, because, like, the idea is generally seems to be, because that was a sentence, generally seems to be The general idea seems to be, um, like in the Minecraft community, that the Nether is like underground, which I don't have any issues with, because it makes sense. Um, but like the Nether is generally viewed as being like underground, right? Like below the bedrock. Um, and so the idea of that is like, yeah, this is the layer right before the Nether, you know. And I think it's cool. It adds an area full of lava and basalt, which is cool. Um, but also it adds like a ton of coal at the bottom of the world, because it adds like deep slate coal in like very large amounts at the bottom of the world. Um, but I don't know if I have that in here. I don't think I do, because I'm at negative 22, so I feel like that down there should be lava by this point. Because that's probably getting down in the negative 64 area, which is where all of that would spawn. So I don't think I have the volcanic caverns. So, or no, I was reading the wrong. I'm at y equals 4, but still, the idea is that it would be like I should probably be able to see it from here. If the volcanic caverns are in this pack. So, I don't think they are. Oop. Gotta love my freaking computer constantly disconnecting random garbage. Don't know why. Hey, iron forged chainmail boots. Peridot ore. Not to be confused with emerald ore, despite them both being green. And I appreciate that Peridot has a very different texture from emerald ore. So, well, I think we have enough iron to start with. We will want more, of course, but I think we have a pretty decent amount of iron right now. To maybe make like some iron tools. Maybe make a set of iron armor. Suit up. Minus 4% total gravity and total entity gravity. Do I like jump higher? Do I like fall slower? What does that even mean? Minus 4% gravity. I don't even know what that means. That's hilarious. I do think I'm going to do some off-camera stuff. Just to, like, help get set up for, you know, the inevitable colony construction. Maybe set up some kind of a tree farm, you know, do some AFKing while trees grow, you know, that sort of thing. So if I come back and I'm like, hey, look, you know, I did some stuff in between episodes, hopefully people won't mind too much. I know that's a general, like, YouTuber tactic where it's like, hey, I did all of the, like, really boring stuff, off camera here so that you didn't have to watch. But I also know that there are people who are like, just put it in the video, like, we'll watch. And it's about 50-50 if that's actually true, that people will watch. But still, how the frick did I even get down here? I am starting to wonder. Well, that'll get me up, at least. Clearly I've been up here before. Because there's torches. Yeah, okay. I think I know where I'm at. Yes, this is my way up, in fact. So, is good. Is the way I want to go. Also, I did want to question whether or not there was anybody who might be interested in helping me do video editing, since my computer cannot handle it. Obviously, I do realize that video editing is like a full-time job, and that the general idea of other YouTubers is that they usually, do pay their editors and things, which I'm not against. I'm going to clarify. I fully believe that should be the way it is. It's just the fact that I make nothing off of YouTube and have no income. So, I know it's a stretch to ask if anybody can do video editing when there's no, pay that can come from it. The idea would be that should the YouTube channel make any amount of money, until the channel is, self-sustaining, I'm able to, make my money and pay the editor, right? Until that point, the editor would be the one getting all of the money from YouTube. That's sort of my idea. Again, not that this channel is currently making any money. So it's not well, in 2 weeks, you'll start getting paid or something. So, like I said, to clarify, it's not that I don't believe in paying, because I absolutely do. I would pay, a living wage to anybody if I could. Living wage, benefits, everything. I just legitimately can't. So, I don't even make a living wage. So, I thought I knew where I was. Thought that was the way up, but apparently not. What the frickin'... Where am I? Is it this way to get up? I really hate mining because I always get lost. It's just that everything looks the same. Also, I keep right-clicking because my freaking hand hurts so bad that it's causing my freaking... I'm in so much pain that it's causing my hands to just, react. Reflex, reactions. So I'm while I'm holding the mouse here, my, reflex kicks in. And I end up, clicking on accident. So, oh my god, where is... The way out. Clearly it's not this way. But oh, this is where, yeah. This is where the coal and the iron was. Because this is where that zombie was. So this is the dark area. All of this was coal and iron. How was that dark area where I was like, you know, there's a zombie that I'm fighting, and then there's coal and iron. Can you just help me get out of here, sir? I ask, and then I kill them all. Like, yes, clearly the idea was that I was asking them to kill me so that I could get out of here. Except that I didn't really want to die, so then I just murdered them. Can you murder skeletons? Like, they're already dead, right? So, like, they're not alive. So, like, and, like, doesn't murdering require something to be alive? I would say YouTube don't demonetize me for this episode, but I'm not monetized to begin with, so. Actually, I knew that wouldn't be enough, but I figured that would give me a usage for that. Also, I did pick up a iron pickaxe. So that's nice. I can use that to mine some of like this gold and stuff that I was seeing. I mean, I wanted to get out of here, but now I'm like completely even more lost than I was moments ago. So that said, I did double check. I think I mentioned this in the previous episode. I don't remember. If I didn't, then you know what? I'll just say it as if I haven't. Minecolonies has raiders that will attack your colony every once in a while. And I think last episode I mentioned that I was fairly certain that I had those raiders turned off. And I did check, and they are in fact off. And immediately anybody who knows Minecolonies is going to be like, well, then what are you going to do for ancient tomes? They're kind of important to Minecolonies. And the answer to that is, yes, I am aware of the importance of ancient tomes. And the fact that they can only be gotten from raids. The plan is to disable the need for ancient tomes, or to make ancient tomes craftable, because I do have the ability to do that. I haven't decided which to do yet, and due to the fact that we don't need them right now, I haven't like made the choice yet. So oh good. That leads into water. That was not my intent. Speaking of, that was not my intent. That line is only in the English version of Final Fantasy XIV. Like, it's actually really interesting to note, but, like, all of the other versions of, all of the other languages for Final Fantasy XIV use the Japanese dialogue. At least from what I can, like, research. At least from what I have researched, I should say. But that line is not in the Japanese version. In the Japanese version of the Ultima Weapon fight, Gaius actually says, "So, this is the power that lies within the Ultima Weapon?" He does not say, "Such devastation, this was not my intent." Which is really interesting, because it's a very different tone. Like, it's a completely different, like, tone and, like, way of speaking and stuff. So it's really interesting that they just completely botched, like, that entire scene. I mean, that said, they did completely botch, like, that entire scene. Not only did they, like, change that one line, but there is actually, like, a lot of stuff that was changed, in, like, the Castrum Praetorium, like, section. And there's probably even more beyond, but I've not, like, researched that, per se, mostly because I haven't been able to really find information beyond those sections. But, like, I'm just like, how do you turn, this moment of awe and shock as Gaius is like, wow, so, like, all this destruction that just happened is the power that lies within the Ultima Weapon? Like, I didn't realize, It's not even that he's, like, feeling remorseful about it. It's literally that he's shocked and like, oh, I didn't realize this thing had this much power, Like, how do you turn that into such devastation? This was not my intent, Like, how do you turn very much not remorseful, very much like, oh, dang, well, I did not realize, this is kind of neat, into, oh no, this is so terrible, I did not know, Japanese Gaius is, like, so much cooler than English Gaius. He really is. He is not as, like, nice as English Gaius is. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of English Gaius that is right. It's not like, oh, he's this horrible dictator. I mean, freaking Shadowbringers proves that. I mean, what? He doesn't come back in Shadowbringers. No, what? No. He dies at the end. I'm sure that's not a spoiler for anybody. It was for me. Like, when somebody was like, I really like how they, I really liked how they, like, updated his character in Shadowbringers. And I'm like, what? I'm like in the middle of Stormblood, and somebody mentions that, and I'm like, what? And that's, of course, when somebody, is going to pop in and be like, holy crap, man, somebody really ruined that for you, didn't they? And no. No. They really didn't. They really did not ruin that for me. I've mentioned before, but I really don't care about spoilers. There is definitely an aspect of encountering something for the first time, going through it blind, and not knowing something, right? There absolutely is something to that. And don't get me wrong. But I've never had something diminished just because, I knew something in advance. It's never happened to me, I knew the entirety of Shadowbringers' story before going into Shadowbringers. I will note, I don't know the majority of the story of Endwalker. There are some things that I did know before starting it. But the majority of it, I don't know. But even knowing the whole of Shadowbringers, knowing who the final villain was in Shadowbringers, knowing much of their story, things like that. Even knowing all of that, the big reveal of the villain at the end of Stormblood, encountering the character playing through Jesus has awoken nearby. Well, great. He's up there, it looks like. So there's that. Hey, I finally figured out how to get out. I guess I won't be encountering Jesus. Also, really interesting fact about Jesus. His name is not Jesus. His name is Joseph. Voluntary exile. Very good. I was actually looking at some of the old, Greek and Hebrew and such. Yeah. Turns out his name is Yosef. Which, of course, if you know, is it's literally Joseph. Literally Joseph. Somebody changed it. I don't know who, but somebody changed it. And this is why we know not to trust ancient texts from 2,000 years ago that tell us how we should live in our modern day life. Somebody's gonna get mad about that, but look, I'm sorry, but I've dealt with enough trouble from people who believe in that religion to know that no, it's really I'm not going to berate anybody if they believe in it. I will look them in the face and say, do remember this was written 2,000 years ago. Do recall that the very concept of there being outer space and a near infinite, as far as we know, universe are, concepts that they are concepts that have only come into existence in the last, couple of 100 years. The idea that there are entire galaxies out there is even a relatively new concept. People used to just think that the stars were the stars. In fact, most people believed that the stars were up above and in this space that rotated around our planet. The very concept that we are a tiny little planet. You know what? I'm just gonna move all this. The very concept that we are this tiny little pale blue dot. And that there is literally an entire universe out there is a concept that has only been realized within the last 300 years, I think. It wasn't even a concept before that. So naturally, the idea that, we are the most important thing in the world, and there is, nothing greater than us, is a little bit, I'm trying to think what the word would be. Egotistical? I don't know if that's the right word, but basically I'm trying to say the very concept of the idea that we are this one, that an entire universe was created purely for our tiny little group of people on this planet is, again, I'm trying to think of a better word than egotistical, but I'm pretty sure that's the word. It's just I don't want to say it's arrogant, but it kind of is. To say a being created the entire universe that we literally cannot begin to explore, just for us, And I have had it said it's well, when, eternity happens, we will live forever, and thus that won't be a problem. We'll want an entire universe to explore. But also, the people that say that forget that the universe will be destroyed, according to the that religion. The entire universe will be destroyed when the end times come, according to the religion. But also, then a single bit of land that is not even remotely, like, even half the size of Earth will come into will be created. And everybody ever in all of existence for all of eternity will live there. There will not be a whole universe to explore. You know? Like, if the religion is true, there will not be a full universe to explore. It will be a space smaller than Earth for more people than Earth can currently hold. Like, think about that for a second. You know? Like, that sounds like somebody didn't think that one through. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like somebody had a dream back in a time when they had no concept of the universe, of the world itself even being as big as it is, you know, no concept of, you know, there will come a time when on our planet 8 billion people will all exist all at once. You know, that's what that sounds like to me, is they had no concept of that. And so when they had that dream, they were like, yeah, no, this sounds right. Because, I mean, you're only going to have a few thousand people. You know, maybe a couple 100,000 people. The very concept that, you know, a million people even would exist was, like, unimaginable. Let alone the very idea of, thought I heard a mob, but I guess I did not. You know, let alone the very concept of, like, hey, you know, maybe there will be, you know, an entire universe of people. And I mean, that's another thing that you have to think about, is assuming that said religion is true, there's an entire universe out there. If there is other life in the universe, that life too also has to go to, you know, the afterlife. And I mean, if there's already 8 billion people in this world alone, how then can we fit, you know, 8 trillion other worlds that have 8 billion people in them, you know? Five, 6, 7. And I do know one thing. I actually brought some of this up. 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, trying to count out spaces. But I had actually brought this up at one point to a priest. I know that that's probably not what he would call himself. He called him, he was a pastor. But in the end, I mean, that's basically what all of those are, right? is priests of some kind. But, like, I brought up, logic. I started bringing up, like, logic. Logical thought to him. I'm like, okay, so let me ask you this question, I started asking him questions like, if, if our religion is true, then, you factor this aspect and that and all the things I've said, basically, right? And I kid you not, his response wasn't even to answer the question. He literally looked at me and said, well, if you bring logic into any of it, the fact of the matter is that you're being dissuaded by the villain. I'm trying to not, call out, the specific religions, because I think there are other religions that believe very similar things. I'm trying to, like, not call out and be like, ew, well, when you talk to, this specific group, But, like, that was literally his response, though. He literally said, well, when you start thinking logically about it, then you've already fallen prey to, the villain. 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, if you think about it too hard and you start to apply logic, you will fall out of the religion, because that's what, the villain wants. I'm like, I'm sorry, the truth should be able to, like, have logic applied to it. Like, there should be no reason why logic can't be applied, because logically we should be able to find the answer, But he literally told me that logic was evil. And that logic will get you in trouble and let the enemy sway you. Putting any thought into it. He basically said, if you're not, blind by faith, then you are being twisted. And I'm going, how can anybody look me in the face and say, if you think about it, it makes no sense, and I'm fully aware of that, which is why you have to not think about it. The truth is there. You just have to believe it's there. You can't use logic to prove it's there. You'd simply just have to believe that that is the truth, regardless of how much you can disprove it. Like, I'm sorry, but what? Like, what? No. Like, what? You're really gonna tell me that logic, that proof, you're literally telling me that if I can disprove something, then I'm just listening to, the great evil. Because simply put, it is the truth even if it's like provably false. Like, what do you have to, like, what has to be going through your mind? What sort of, like, I don't want to say, like, twisted, I don't want to berate anybody, but, like, how can you say that? Like, how can you look somebody straight in the face and say that without even batting an eye? It doesn't matter if you can prove that it's false. The fact of the matter is we believe in this thing, and regardless of what the truth of that matter is, that thing is the truth. It doesn't matter if, it would be equivalent to saying, like, it doesn't matter if, it doesn't matter if I throw an apple and it falls, It doesn't matter if an apple falls from a tree. Gravity doesn't exist. You just have to believe that gravity doesn't exist. Because that's the truth. It doesn't matter how much science can disprove it. It doesn't matter that you can literally step outside. Heck, you don't even have to step outside. You could just grab any object near you, and drop it and prove that gravity exists. You can literally see it. The fact is gravity doesn't exist. Like, that's the mentality that you have to say that kind of thing. It doesn't matter how much I can prove. It doesn't matter how much somebody can prove or I can prove. It doesn't matter how many experiments I myself even can run to disprove this thing. The fact of the matter is that thing is all false. And if you let yourself start to believe in that, then you are falling prey to the enemy. It doesn't matter that I can literally drop an item and watch it hit the ground. Gravity does not exist, and simply put, if you believe in gravity, then you are falling prey to the great big, villain that wants you to believe in, gravity, because somehow that will screw you over in the afterlife. Like, is that not literally what was told to me? Like, what sort of mental state do you have to be in to be able to look a person in the face and say that? Like, how delusional does a person have to be? Again, I'm not saying that people that believe in their religions are bad. That, that there are good things that have come from religion. There's obviously more bad things that have come from religion than good. 90% of wars are caused because of, well, we hate them because they're not our religion, terrorist groups forming up. Can you say that on YouTube? Terrorist groups, forming up because, well, my religion is right and yours is wrong. But again, I'm not trying to berate anybody. And I know a lot of YouTubers very much avoid the talk of religion because it's going to cause, anger and flame wars and things. But listen, if you're concerned that your viewers are going to hate your YouTube channel, try to cancel you, etc., over your beliefs, maybe those viewers are not the ones you want anyway. Just a thought to other YouTubers. I know that no other YouTubers will even see any of this. None of the Captain Sparkles or the Zines or, Matt Pats or, pluralizing their names because, not specifically saying them, but, just kind of giving a general idea of, these kinds of people, None of them are going to, see any of this. Actually, I don't even know, where Matt Pat would even stand on that. I don't actually think he's ever, done anything or said anything in regards to, that sort of stuff. I have a feeling that he doesn't, just because as a science YouTuber, he does talk a lot about, the millions of years ago and such. And, people that believe in those things don't believe in that. Millions of years ago, we evolved these traits is the very antithesis of those religions, right? But still, my point isn't, that's, those people are wrong. My point is simply just, as a YouTuber, you do have to sit down and think about your audience. And usually, sit down and think about your audience, means sit down and think about what your audience wants. But in this case, I'm meaning it more sit down and think about who your audience is. And if your audience is not the kinds of people that you would want them to be, maybe that's the indication that, you need to, bring that up, So, listen, YouTube, YouTube and, things like it are more or less, as much as we like to pretend we're not, stuff like YouTube nowadays is just where a lot of people look. You know, a lot of people look to YouTube, you know, YouTubers and, you know, so on, for an opinion, you know, because all of us are like wanting an opinion that isn't our own because, I don't know, it seems to be human nature to want to be able to, like, you know, blame someone else, you know, for your own trespasses, right? We don't want to take the blame for our actions, so we look to others to give us an opinion, and then when that opinion turns out to be wrong or harmful, then instead of being like, oops, I did it bad, we go, well, you know, this person was the one that gave us that, that gave me that opinion. So now we need to go drag them, you know, through the mud over it, you know? Which is extremely harmful, just in general. Like, it's extremely harmful just to people in general to be like that. Because, first off, it gives no accountability to the people actually in charge, you know, or that should be accountable, you know. You know, sorry. Well, you know, I didn't vote for that president, so it's not my fault that things are in the position that they're in the world, you know. Instead of, hey, what can I do to try and help? You know, to try to help one more person. Instead, we look at other people and say, well, they didn't do anything to help one other person. And so, because the thing that they did or didn't do was, you know, ended up causing problems, you know, therefore it's their fault instead of, you know, my fault, you know. And like I said, it's very harmful to society as a whole, to, like, think like that. So, and it's problematic, like, oop, haha, even more cows, awesome. Now we can have some leather. Alright, I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe that's just my thoughts, but that just seems to be the way the world is. And I think that needs to change. And maybe that's why I, as like a YouTuber, stand up for, you know, what I think is right. Because, like, look, you know, like, if I say nothing, here yeah, I'll leave it with this. If I say nothing, then people are going to come at me and say, well, you didn't do your part to try to change the world, right? So if I'm going to do my part to try to change the world, you know, if I'm going to get blamed for something, it might as well be that I get blamed for saying the wrong thing, and rightfully so, than getting blamed for knowing what the right thing is, not saying something, and then because of that, nothing changes, you know? Like, I am a firm believer that we just need to abolish the concept of money, you know? We don't need to even, like, replace money with anything. We just need to abolish the concept of money. You know? Money causes problems. Simply put. You know? Well, how are you gonna, pay for anything if everything is free? Well, that you don't have to pay for anything because everything is free. You know? Well, how is a person gonna work? What's gonna convince people to work? If not the money. It's called, there won't be a need for money. And without the need for money, people will want to work in the places that they want to work. The quality of life, of work, will increase. Because people aren't just working to live. People are working because they truly believe in whatever they're working in, I know many people from my time in fast food who worked in fast food entirely because it's what they believed in. Their idea was that they wanted to put a smile on people's faces. They wanted to serve food, good food, to people, that are in a rush, who need, a quick, something, You will literally lose nothing. You have only to gain from that change. Nothing will be lost if money is just abolished. But nobody is going to be the person to stand up and say, we're abolishing money. Because once you lose money, once money is gone, then what makes them stand out from everybody else? What does having $1 billion, dollars matter if $1 billion means nothing? What do these billionaires have going for them aside from the fact that they are billionaires? What do movie stars, TV stars, etc. have going for them aside from the fact that they're filthy, stinking rich because they do movies, they do TV, they do all the stuff, They're in the public eye. What? Oh, my cat just got off my lap and now I can move my legs and it hurts so bad. Oh boy. What do these people have beyond the ability to say, I have money? If money is gone, then money is no longer going to be something that, that they can use should they end up in a bad situation. They can't be like, oh, well, I'll pay and then you'll just keep quiet about it, right? Then they can't do that anymore, there is nothing to lose for anybody except for those who have built their lives on money. And you say well, Serene, if money were just abolished, how would we determine, you go to Walmart and you buy things and they ring it up and they say, okay, this is how much it is. How would we keep track of all of this stuff? And you use the systems we have now. A person goes through the checkout line. They say, okay, here's 12 apples that I'm picking up. The person says, okay, 12 apples. It's added to the inventory. And you move on. That's literally it. We have all of the systems in place for a moneyless society. They're just all directed towards money. Farmers could farm and go out and, pick up whatever crops they need, whatever seeds they need, etc., just by going out, picking them up, and that's that, Like, we don't need money for these systems to work. But again, maybe that's just me. The fire, I keep hearing the fire going and thinking that it's a mob. So, I don't think these are useful for anything, right? Nope. Nothing. I mean, I guess it can be composted, which is nice. I don't think composting, I don't think they're compostable like in vanilla. Like, let's look at Minecraft for a second. When you play Minecraft, how do you play Minecraft? Do you get on Minecraft and you go, okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build an entire economy, Like, no. You don't do that. You just get on Minecraft, you play. When your friend needs something, you go, oh, hey, I have that. Like, hey, I need this. Oh, yeah, I have that. Let me give that to you. Is it really that hard of a concept, I wonder? I was watching, I know that we're going way over, it's an hour and a half now, but like I was watching a YouTuber earlier, and like they have their own like private server. They have their own server. And they were talking about like, oh, the economy on the server is so bad because people just have like millions of diamonds. I'm going, yeah, they have like all of this stuff. But look and notice that they're like, giving the stuff to each other. That they're not like, well, if you want it, it's going to cost you, 20 gold. No, they're like, oh, you need, a couple of diamonds? I've got a couple of diamonds. Minecraft can actually show us that a moneyless economy works. That we can have an entire society with no money. How many people want to get into YouTube not because they want to do YouTube, but because money? How many kids out there are like, well, I want to do YouTube when I grow up as my job, not because they like the idea of playing, games and doing videos on games. But because people make money on YouTube, so therefore maybe they can too. Like, we're always looking for that way to just make money, to just live a little bit better than we currently are. And maybe it's just me, but that just is really sad. Like, legitimately, that is ridiculous and really sad. Why are we just looking for a means of money? Have we not at this point come to realize that we're above that? Like, are we as a species so terrible that we can't look at this and go, you know what? Let's be honest. This is a problem. This is the problem. This is what needs to be fixed. And the answer is, I don't know if we so much are incapable of it, as much as it is that though we are capable, it would be such a massive change that nobody wants to do that. Because, yes, I will be the first to admit that the biggest thing that would come out of it, the biggest change that would come out of, yeetising money would be a systematic, everything that we know would come to an end. And I'm fully willing to admit that yeah, the status quo, those who are at the top of the food chain, if you will, society as a whole would change. Those who are the terrible people with all the money wouldn't settle for it. So they would try and fail to find some way to be just as important, because, somebody has to be at the top of the top of the leaderboard, right? Even though, nobody has to be. But that's how they're going to feel, is that somebody has to be at the top of the leaderboard. It's going to be them, So, maybe I'm also just, spewing out my ass here, and none of this would even, be possible or work. I don't know. I see no reason why it wouldn't be able to work. The reason it wouldn't work, quote unquote, is simply that nobody would want to do it out of principle of it's going to change the world. It's going to, collapse the higher ups, Like, whoever is the person that makes that change, right, is going to have to fight tooth and nail to get that change to happen. But also, come the end of it, and after it does happen, that person isn't gonna be at the top anymore, we wouldn't need the president to tell us how to live you know, because he wouldn't be at the top anymore, you know. We wouldn't need millionaires and billionaires to tell us what we can or cannot create, you know. And I feel like, yes, we are slowly moving into that sort of society where we've reached the point where, people are realizing, like, hey, we don't need the millionaires and the billionaires to, like, approve of this stuff in order for us to live our lives, which is great. The problem is that like the next step, if you will, you know, is taking it from that, from simply, you know, the millionaires and billionaires aren't needed for making a video game or something, because, you know, people can crowdfund and whatnot, and just turning it into the world doesn't need, you know. And that would be the hardest part of it. And I'm fully willing to admit that that is going to be difficult, if not nigh impossible. So, and I know that that's good. I know that, you know, me saying this stuff, like, like, isn't some of that, like, idea, isn't that kind of like what the communist, like, ideal is? It's just like, you don't need money to, like, have life. You know, if everybody has the same stuff, then everything is fair for everybody. Like, isn't that kind of supposed to be, like, the ideal of, you know, the like, communist, like, viewpoint? I don't know. I feel like all I've ever known about communism is the classic, like, communism is bad. Well, why is communism bad? Because communism is bad. That doesn't answer my question. Why is communism bad? Because it's bad. You know, I've never actually heard anybody talk about, like, what communism actually is, and therefore what makes it bad. It's always been, well, communists are bad. I mean, look at history. You can just see they did all these bad things. And it's like, let me look at history for a moment. You want me to reflect on all of the bad things that your people have done? No, of course not. Again, I think it goes back to this idea that we as a people want somebody, something else to blame other than ourselves. You know? Because if we can put the blame on somebody or something else, then we as a society, as a people, don't have to take the blame for it. We don't have to change. You know? If it's somebody else's fault, then, you know, if it's somebody else's fault that I did the wrong thing, then it's not my fault that I did the wrong thing, right? You know, like, how many religions, all of them as far as I know, but how many religions are themselves based off of the idea of it's somebody else's fault, you know? I know every religion I've ever looked at has always been, there is the great enemy. Also, I think I said I'll leave it with this earlier, and I did not leave it with that. I knew I shouldn't have said that. But see, that's not my fault. It's, it's this pumpkin's fault that I did that. Yep. Oh, boy. Alright, I'm going to plant this sugarcane, and we'll end there. So, I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, feel free to subscribe. You can check the video description down below where there's a link to Patreon. Well, there's a link to Patreon and Discord. You can come on out, hang out with us, you know, chat, all of that. And also, it does help support the channel quite a bit. Also, if this is the first episode of SC Colonies that you're seeing, there is a playlist. You can check that out. Still working out the exact wordings on these things because I'm so used to saying, like, check the video description for the playlist that, like, that's just the default of, like, how I do it. See, it's not my fault. You know? It's not my fault. It's my brain's fault that I keep doing that. You know? It's not me. Anyway. I guess with that, I'll see you all next time. See you later.